Perception. Perceive with clarity even if it is disillusioning. This card is asking you to perceive your situation with clarity, even though it might feel disillusioning to you on some level. Now, with perception, I know for myself for a long time, I thought of perception or insight or inner voice or psychic ability as being something where you just know. You just know it, you know it, you know it. And sometimes it is. I mean, that's the ideal form. But sometimes, in order to find our perception, we have to go through a sort of disillusioning process. Sometimes the truth and clarity doesn't just happen and we know it. We have to perceive it. And I think of perception and perceiving as sort of like discerning. And so if you're in a discerning process, you have to look at what is real and what is not and decipher. It's more active than just like an aha sort of, oh, I know this. It's more active. So when you're thinking in terms of perceiving through a disillusioning experience, there's two things that you want to look at that will help you perceive with clarity. The first is that sometimes we want to believe that someone is perfect. We put them on a pedestal, we idolize them, we compare them to someone else, we compare them to ourselves, and so we're projecting all of this positive, one-track rose-colored glasses mind filter onto them, and we're not perceiving the fact that they may be really dishonest, or they might be really, passive-aggressive, or there's just subtle things that we're not recognizing in the person or in a situation that may have red flags, but we don't want to see them. And the reason why we don't want to see them is because it challenges all the good feelings, all of the, it's sometimes our illusions, our projections, our ideals. So we can kind of get high off of that. It can feel good, and so we don't want to let go of that good feeling. And so then we may not look at what is really there because it's hidden. We're allowing it to be hidden through a projection or the fog of our own hoping and wishing and making. And so that can be one way in which we're not perceiving things clearly, and because we're trying to avoid being disillusioned and disappointed by reality. And so we protect ourselves through this positive projection. Well, the other half of that would be negative projections, where a person or a situation is actually positive, but we, because of our own negative experiences or negative shadow traits that are not fully owned, we might react to the situations and perceive incorrectly, and we think this is happening or that is happening, or they're trying to hurt us, or whatever, or we're horrible and they're great, like there's some kind of like negative fear-based experience from the past that is clouding our ability to perceive that this person is actually on our side. And that can be disillusioning too. It can be very disillusioning, or feelings of shame or embarrassment might come up when we realize, oh, I've been reacting to this person as if they're the devil when really, they're my best friend. And so that can be like a disillusionment, and I can't believe I was capable of being so off. And if we want to avoid feeling disillusioned because that feels embarrassing or shameful, then we will allow our perception to continue to be incorrect. So letting yourself be disillusioned is not necessarily easy, but if it's a concept that you're mindful of, then you can become aware when and if you're doing that. And if this card is coming up in your reading, then it must have some significant, some symbolic or, it's mirroring to you that this dynamic might be playing out in your life. And so you want to question, are you perceiving things accurately? And if you feel like you are, how can you manage and heal and resolve any disillusionment that might come up for you so that you can continue to see things correctly and take action on what your perceptions are.
Let's cut out the melodrama so we can wake up the whole wide world.